Hey everyone, it's Tim. Welcome back to my channel. I want to do a reading today of a little snippet from my short story that was featured in the 2022 ARIA Anthology, Iconic Rhode Island. So every year with ARIA, the Association of Rhode Island Authors, we do a anthology comprised of thematically related stories. This past year, it was all about things that are iconic to Rhode Island, things that when you go on vacation there, things you think about that come right to mind and you think Rhode Island. So I wrote a story that was all about some kids trying to chase down some dragons that had gotten loose down on the cliff walk. And it features pretty much everything that you can think of from like the first beach area around the cliff walk. So it involves the mansions, involves like Salve Regina, like all the different areas you could think of if you've ever walked the cliff walk down there. If you haven't walked the cliff walk, I definitely recommend going sometime like in the summer or the spring. It's real nice there. Um, it's a good time. So I'm going to bring you to a point where some small dragon whelps had been spotted. The kids had gone down. These are junior members of the Order of Draco. It's within the Liam Tryggvason's story world, but I technically wrote it as sort of a test bed for like a middle grade story series that I was thinking of writing and haven't given up on it yet. So this is technically the first of like that area that you might see books come out, like full length middle grade novels. So let's take a look. And if you like it, I highly recommend you give this a try and check out the other stories that are in there too. So to give you preference, everybody except Bonnie is like a late middle school kid, and Bonnie is an older woman who's one of the members of the Order of Draco. Sorry. Ugh, my bad. Luca blurted out a string of apologies for the 100th time in the last 5 minutes. At this point, he wasn't even looking to the person to whom he should be apologizing. It had simply become a reflective action while he ran. And boy, did he run. And dodged bits of broken antique furniture and glass, oddly enough. After they had begun their chase of the two dragons, the four of them had quickly discovered that these dragon babies couldn't fly yet, but could run like Olympic marathoners. The little guys had quickly darted down the rocky walkway due south with the Order members in close pursuit. They had passed many houses, more than they could keep track of over the sounds of their hearts beating through their chests, but they knew that they were approaching the more expensive looking homes. While running, Bonnie had hailed Stephen on the radio that they were approaching the Salve Regina campus and that they needed help. Try driving the dragon back toward the street, the man calmly stated over the sound of screeching tires. Get the dragon onto Ocker Point Avenue if you can. I'm coming to you. Affirmative, Bonnie replied, turning back to the kids. She yelled, Let's chase her through the yard up ahead and sweep around behind it. We need to get it to the road. And that was when they realized the tiny yard up ahead was Ocker Court, and that Salve was hosting a festive gala that evening. They chased the dragon through throngs of people mingling on the dimly lit lawn, bedecked in their finest and holding fragile glasses and plates. Cries of surprise rang out from amongst the well-to-do attendees as the three party crashers rushed through the crowd, throwing the scene into absolute chaos. They pumped their legs as fast as they could and continued to chase down the path. The dragon veered back toward the water, so Luca burned ahead on the left while Giovanni dropped back a few feet, hoping to create a tangible wedge to drive the dragon off to the right. The plan finally worked as the whelp broke off toward a humongous building up ahead. Go wide, Giovanni yelled to Luca. Let's get him to the road. I can see it just past the mansion. Bonnie, Giovanni yelled out as Bonnie and Stella had veered to the side in pursuit of the other dragon. I think that we'll get him onto the street at this house. Oh no, he heard her groan. We're at the Breakers. Be careful, that place is expensive. Looking ahead, the boys watched as the black-blue blur of the dragon leapt over the well-kept shrubbery and launched itself through a window into the back wall. Giovanni looked to Luca for advice, and the other simply shrugged. They took off after the whelp, quickly scurrying up the side of the stone wall and through the shattered window. They found themselves in a lavish room and continued after the creature, dodging a string of smashed objects in the wake of the scaled intruder. The formerly opulent palace was apparently not designed to handle errant dragons, as was now awash in broken glass and shattered artifacts. Pushing through the mess, the boys rounded a corner as a large painting fell off the wall in front of them, landing on their heads. Carefully hoisting it in front of themselves by the frame, they looked down at the placard. Gloria and Anderson, Luca read. I don't know what Bonnie's talking about. That's not what a silver fox looks like. Giovanni shrugged and leaned the painting up against the wall. Looking to their right, they saw the dragon burst through another window at the end of the hallway. Running after it, They passed through an adjacent door and onto the spacious driveway. Heading toward the left where they felt the main road to be, they watched in horror as the dragon bounded once, twice, and leapt high over the thick iron gate before them. As they watched their quarry escape to freedom, the second dragon bounded past them, leaping the fence in one bound after its broodmate. Bonnie and Stella skidded to a halt in front of the gate, watching their dragon disappear as well. Just as their hearts began to sink into their stomachs, they watched in awe as Bonnie's van screeched to a halt on the other side. The sliding door opened and Stephen rushed out, tossing a net over the first whelp just as it alighted the sidewalk before them. Before they even knew what was happening, the man deftly netted the second and gently struggled it into the ground. They hustled over the fence, taking their time now that the chase had thankfully come to an end. Hands on their knees, the kids caught their breaths as Bonnie and Stephen lifted the equally exhausted dragons into the back of her van and secured it in the cages. "Great job, kids," Bonnie said. She looked around, clearly counting the number of kids with her. "Where's Zoe?" So, that's just a small part of the story. I hope you like the little references to the people and places along the cliff walk. Right there, obviously, that was a nod to Anderson Cooper growing up at the Vanderbilt house. I hope you like that. If you do, please consider checking out this book. As you can see, it's a decently thick book. It had lots of short stories and poems all about different Rhode Island features in there. And if you enjoy it, please give a review online, tell your friends about it, and then check out some of the other anthologies that we have from the ARIA group. So hope you're having a great day, and thanks for spending a few minutes with me, and I'll talk to you later. All right, thanks. Bye.